So we've all played Monopoly, right? And we know that Monopoly 9 times out of 10 goes pretty bad. Everybody plays by different rules. There's always someone who takes it way, way too seriously. It's a long game. But in Brussels, capital of Belgium, earlier this week, there was an incident on the streets. A man became aggravated with 4 people sitting outside of his home playing Monopoly at 5 o'clock in the morning. So he had a big broomstick, went out there, started making some noise. Here's where the stupidity really comes in. The man's son, unnamed, also leaves the house, follows out his dad with a samurai sword. Now, you got a samurai sword and the other guy has a thimble, right? You figure you're going to be okay. Well, during the fracas, the sword came unsheathed. One of the Monopoly players was injured. The man holding the sword was injured. Both were arrested. Both were sent to the hospital, but the man who was brandishing the sword is in life-threatening condition, and the Monopoly player is already home. So, but my point is, how stupid do you have to be to bring a samurai sword to a Monopoly fight and lose?
Yeah. I mean, it's that top hat. It'll always get you, babe. It'll always get you. Damn. I mean, yeah, if you show up, it's just like the Dutch to bring a samurai sword to a Monopoly fight.
Belgians.
Yep, the Belgians, the Dutch. Aren't they all the same?
Dude. Not quite.
Yeah, what are you going
to do? Any game of Monopoly should be like, going to a nightclub in like a not so nice neighborhood. Like there should be metal detectors at the door and everything. Like there should be like weapons should be banned from the premise because Monopoly is awful.
Cutthroat.
It's awful. Dude. It brings out the worst in everyone.
Yeah.
Dude, my kid asks me to play Monopoly all the time and I fucking hate it, dude. I fucking hate Monopoly. I don't even like playing with her because then if I win, she gets like all upset and everything. And then if I lose, I lost to an 8-year-old in Monopoly and played all that time. It's just
if you lose, she's like, oh shit, my dad doesn't know how to do things with money.
Yeah, my dad's a
moron.
Need
a job?
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you, I won't play Monopoly anymore just because like we played it a lot at my house. We had like our Monopoly board was a cherry wood Monopoly board with a felt center. All the cards were like, they had like gold corners on them, like metal gold corners.
Gold embossed.
Yeah. They were like, so they didn't like bend or whatever. We took Monopoly pretty seriously. And I'll tell you this right now, I was fucking incredible at it. Right. And I won a lot of the time, but I still won't play anymore. 1, too fucking long. And 2, it turns into a fucking bloodbath. That's all Monopoly
It's a nightmare every time.
Yeah.
I feel like you should have to also, like, especially if you're playing with family, you should have to sign an NDA before you go in there. Just be like, listen, whatever is said during this Monopoly game, because like things will come up from the past.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to hurt someone. Maddie, of all 4 Lavelle children, who was the biggest cheater?
Natalie, the worst.
Yeah.
She's a fucking asshole. Yeah.
Well, she's the oldest too, though, so I that makes sense.
One time we were playing, and my dad was playing with us, right? Like, so it was all 4 kids and my dad. And like an hour in, he was just like so fed up that he's like, "I'm going to bed." And he gives out everybody like he had like money and stuff, and he just like gave it out to everybody. And because Natalie was such a cheater, he gave me like a 500 and a couple properties. So he gave Alex like most of it because Alex is the youngest. He gave Tom like the same, like a couple hundred and some properties. And he gave my sister like $20 and a get out jail free card. You know what I mean? Like that's just the kind of shit player she is. Yeah. And
she didn't need the money.
And then of course she lost her fucking mind and flips the board and it turned into a whole thing. But hey, I had a couple hotels on Baltic Avenue and I was cleaning up. You know what I mean? The key is, I'll tell you this right now for all you Monopoly players out there, you want to get Baltic, you want to get Mediterranean because they're the cheapest ones and you can throw hotels on them right away. It don't take long to get your hotels on them, and everybody hits them because they're just past go. They might be cheap, but they're the slums, and they add up. I'm saying, once you get Baltic, then you can move on to your purples, and then your greens and whatever. But that's I'm telling you. I think Baltic.
I think
Baltic
slumlording is the proper strategy in Monopoly.
Absolutely.
Start small. Yeah, you want that first row because everybody hits on that first row because they're trying to come big around the corner. because they want to pass go and get that 200. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And fuck the railroad. You know, fuck. But
Well,
Yeah, they
at
are
least
dumb.
there were no samurai swords in the Lavelle house that fateful night.
You know what I would love is, you know how like there's all these like gimmick monopolies. Like I remember there was like a Penn State-opoly and there's a Scranton-opoly. You know, like there's all these gimmick ones. I would love if Monopoly now announced a new piece of like that you can be, and it's the samurai sword. I would love if they
let's submit it. Let's submit it. It'd be a cool piece.
Yeah,
it would start. People would fight over it, which I think is what the makers of Monopoly want.
I'm
to create
always
strife.
the boot. Yeah, I'm always the boot.
The 22 tucked into a sock.
Yeah.
Maddie, I'm also a boot guy.
Yeah, always the boot.